developments in Egypt in various fields, political, economic, social, as well as sports. So do join us for the next hour. We bring you all the latest news coming your way from Egypt. My name is Angie Meher, and I'm delighted to be joining you this afternoon with Cairo Local Time, our new magazine show that comes your way every day, 4 p.m. Cairo Local Time. So let's begin today's episode by taking a look at the most significant events that have taken place during the day, coming your way right after the short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still joining you on today's edition of Cairo Local Time, and starting with a look at the latest news coming your way. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the German Chancellor Angela Merkel discussed on Friday via phone call bilateral relations between the two countries, as well as recent regional and international developments. During the call, both parties exchanged condolences in the wake of the recent terrorist attacks in the two countries. Sisi and Merkel affirmed their respective countries' solidarity in combating terrorism. The call also included a discussion on the special bilateral relations between Egypt and Germany, as well as the two countries' wish to further their cooperation in all aspects, particularly with Merkel's scheduled visit to Egypt in the first quarter of 2017. The call comes in the wake of the Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister Sameh Shoukry's two-day visit to Berlin, where he met with a number of German ministers and parliamentary figures. Egypt and Germany have strengthened economic and political ties over the past few years. Still with the latest news, Cameroonian Foreign Minister Lujine Bella praised the bilateral relations between his country and Egypt during his meeting with Egypt's ambassador to Cameroon, Sherif El-Lithi. Egyptian-Cameroon ties are expected to be enhanced when the 7th session of the Cameroon-Egypt Joint Committee will be held in Cairo. The committee will serve as the forum to discuss the way forward in consolidating bilateral relations. We have more details about the Egyptian-Cameroonian ties coming your way in this report.
Cameroonian Foreign Minister Lujine Bella praised bilateral relations between his country and Egypt during his meeting with Egypt's ambassador to Cameroon, Sherif El-Lithi. El-Lithi presented a message at the meeting from Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry to his Cameroonian counterpart. The message to Bella included ways of strengthening bilateral relations in all fields and also their coordination in international forums. During the meeting, the Cameroonian foreign minister expressed his appreciation for the great role Egypt is demonstrating in leading the African continent and for being a founding member of the Organization of African Unity as well as the African Union. He also praised the new strategy of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, which included traveling throughout the African continent to document Egypt's relations with its countries, as well as strengthening cooperation between the countries in the south. He also referred to the excellent relations that the two countries are witnessing during the current period. Mbela thanked Egypt for all its assistance, asserting the necessity for cooperation and solidarity between both countries. Moreover, during the meeting, the officials discussed the 7th session of the Egyptian-Cameroonian Joint Committee, which will benefit the interests of both countries.
Welcome back. Still coming away with the latest news, the governor of the Egyptian Central Bank, CBE, said that the foreign investors will be able to repatriate profits and capital in the coming period now that the country's foreign reserves have recovered. Speaking at a conference held by the investment bank EFG Hermes, Tara Amer said the banking sector had secured inflows of between 7.5 billion and 8 billion US dollars since the CBE floated the Egyptian pound on the 3rd of November of 2016. The Forbes magazine reported that business mogul Naguib Sawiris is Egypt's biggest winner in 2016, as his net fortune increased by 700 million US dollars to reach 3.7 billion US dollars in total. According to a report published by the magazine, Sawiris ranked 7th amongst Africa's top billionaires in 2016 and 2nd amongst Egyptian billionaires. Sawiris ranked 10th on Africa's richest billionaires in the 2015 list and 2nd in Egypt for that year. Naguib Sawiris owns investments in the telecommunications, media finance and construction fields. And still bringing you the latest news, the delegation of the first football national team, the Pharaohs, arrived to Gabon on Friday. The Pharaohs will participate in the African Nations Cup, which kicks off in Gabon on the 14th of January. The Pharaohs will clash with their counterparts of Mali, Uganda and Ghana on January 17th, 21st and 25th, respectively, in the preliminary round of the African Championship. Egypt is a 7-time African Cup holder, and here is a brief of every title the Pharaohs have won ahead of the 2017 finals.
Egypt is seeking to win a record-extending 8th Nations Cup title in Gabon. Egypt was the first team ever to win the African Cup of Nations. The tournament was held for the first time in Sudan in February 1957, with only 3 teams participating: Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan, while South Africa, one of the founding members of the Confederation of African Football (CAF), was disqualified due to its apartheid policies. 2 years later, Egypt hosted a one-group tournament with the same teams that participated in the previous edition: Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia. The Pharaohs thrashed Ethiopia 4-0 courtesy to a hat-trick from Mahmoud El-Gohari, the general, and a goal from Mimi Sherbini. In their final game, it was forward Issam Bahig who stole the limelight, scoring a brace against Sudan in a 2-1 victory to give Egypt a second straight title. After failing to win the title for almost 3 decades, Egypt hosted an 8-team tournament in 1986, hoping to restore their glory days. Welshman Mike Smith had one of Egypt's finest squads at his disposal, with the roster including iconic striker and 1983 African Player of the Year Mahmoud El-Khatib, Tahir Abu Zaid, nicknamed the Maradona of the Nile, Magdi Abdel Ghani, and strikers Gamal Abdel Hamid were then the rising stars, and to add to the squad, Hussam Hassan. Despite they had the worst possible start, they claimed their 3rd Nations Cup title. And in 1998, Egypt became the unlikely winners. Mahmoud El-Gohari etched his name into the Nations Cup history after becoming the first and only one to win the title as a player and a coach. Hussam Hassan was the tournament's undisputed star, finishing as the joint top scorer with 7 goals on the level with Benny McCarthy of South Africa. In 2006, Egypt hosted the tournament, and this edition marked the rise of a golden generation that would dominate Africa for years to come. Coach Hassan Shahata was the mastermind of a 5th Nations Cup triumph, defying critics who questioned his credentials. If some had deemed Egypt's 2006 Nations Cup triumph a fluke because it was staged on home soil, there were no doubts about the second straight win in Ghana 2 years later. Egypt displayed an attractive...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and joining us now over the telephone is Coach Karim Hassan Shihata, the sports analyst. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Hello, Angie.
Thank you very much for joining us, Coach. And let me start by asking you, sir, in your opinion, what is the value added to this edition by Egypt's participation?
Yes, Egypt will play in the 4th group. The 4th group is very strong. We will play against Ghana and Uganda and Mali. Very hard group and very strong group. You know that Ghana and Uganda with us in the qualification of World Cup group, and we played against Ghana from 2 months. It was very strong match. It's very hard, not easy for Egypt. But our coach, Mr. Cooper, has his strategy, and he knows how to play against this team. And we hope, inshallah, that Moscow can qualify to the second stage, bismillah.
God willing. Sir, how do you view the inclusion of veteran players such as Ahmed Fathi, as well as newcomers such as Abdullah Saeed and Tariq Ahmed?
Yes, Mr. Cooper also, he have 11 players. He don't change them. Plays with Al-Hadri in goalkeeper, and in the defense he will play with Hijazi and Ali Ghaffar. Ahmed Fathi will play in the right back. Muhammad Al-Shafi in the left back. In midfield will be Tariq Hamid and Nini. And also Marwan Mohsen will be the striker of the Egyptian national team. And Mohamed Salah in the right side, Trezeguet in the left side. We have also Abdullah Saeed in midfield under the striker Marwan Mohsen. He plays, Mr. Koura plays always again with a defensive way or defensive strategy, and he tried to throw the ball to Mohamed Salah. Salah is very fast, and also Trezeguet. Our team has his strategy, and Mr. Cooper don't change his strategy, And also we have a lot of players have experience like Ahmed Fathi and Abdullah Saeed.
Indeed.
Also Mohamed Salah and Al-Hadr.
Indeed. Well, we wish the Egyptian team all the best of luck. I'd like to thank you very much, Coach Karim Hassan Shaheta. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you an African Nations Cup promo, the 2017 matches in Gabon. To stay tuned.
Gabon will take centre stage in 2017 as the West African nation hosts the 2017 Total Africa Cup of Nations. 16 nations from across the continent all vying for one goal to be crowned African champions. The first pot contains Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon and Ghana. Algeria netted 25 goals in their qualifying campaign. The Phoenix will always remember 1990 though as the year they won this prestigious competition. We have Mahrez in top form. Algeria will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Ivoire are the defending champions after their winning exploits in Equatorial Guinea in 2015. The Ivorians will be playing in their 22nd Africa Cup of Nations. With star players such as Gervinho and Wilfried Bony, Michel Dusoye can rely on a strong squad packed with talent. Host Gabon will be seeking to exploit home advantage. Led by their Portuguese coach Jorge Costa, the Panthers will be looking to pounce on their prey as they seek their first ever Cup of Nations title and better their two previous quarter-final appearances in 1996 and 2012. Hitman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will lead the attack. The Black Stars of Ghana have ruled the continent on 4 occasions, with their last success coming in 1982. Israeli manager Avram Grant has groomed his squad into one of the best drilled teams in Africa. In the last 5 editions, they haven't finished lower than 4th. In 2017, the talented Ayew brothers will be flying the Ghanaian flag in Gabon. Pot 2 contains Burkina Faso, Mali, DRC and Tunisia. The exciting, attacking style of Burkina Faso saw the Stallions win their group in qualifying. In just 9 Cup of Nations appearances, Burkina Faso finished 4th in 1998 and runners up to Zambia in 2013. Portuguese coach Paulo Duarte can lean on veteran trial.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, still with you on Cairo Local Time, and for more news related to sports, the national handball team beat Qatar 22-20 in the 2017 World Men's Handball Championship Group D opener on Friday. Egypt qualified to the World Handball Championship after winning the 2016 African Handball Championship, which was held in Cairo. The Pharaohs were able to end the first half on top as it ended 11-8 to the African champions. The 2015 World Championship runners-up tried to come back in the second half, but the Egyptians showed determination as they were able to control the game, ending the second half and the game 22-20. It is worth mentioning that Egypt were drawn in the group of death alongside Qatar, Denmark, Sweden, Bahrain and Argentina, with the top 4 teams qualifying to the round of 16. I'm delighted to be joined now over the telephone with the handball player Yusuf Ashraf to tell us a bit more about yesterday's game. A very good afternoon to you, Yusuf. Hello?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Thank you very much, Coach Yusuf, for joining us. First and foremost, let me congratulate you on the victory and ask you, how do you see the inclusion of new faces in the formation of the team? For example, Ahmed Khairi, did he have a value to add?
Yes, thank you. And I would like to congratulate all Egyptians for this victory, and I hope it's only the start. And I think we have a very good young team that's playing in harmony and a good mixture of older and younger players, and hopefully it's a start for a new generation of Egyptian handball that can bring back the glory of the older days.
Indeed. Now, sir, let me ask you, the performance of Ahmed Al Ahmar, he was named the man of the game. How influential was his performance in winning the match?
I think it's only what we expect of Ahmed Al Ahmar. He's the Egyptian captain, and he's definitely the best players in Africa. And the responsibility he carries has always been at what we expect from him, and he's never disappointed us. And he will continue to do that throughout his international career. And yesterday was no exception. He played tremendously and showed his character and showed his leadership skills.
Absolutely right. I'd like to thank you very much, Coach Yusuf Ashraf, for joining us, and of course wishing you all the best of luck in all the future games. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you the Tourism magazine in a move that has been aimed at encouraging more foreign visitors to visit Egypt. The Antiquities Ministry has announced a 20% discount on passes, allowing access to archaeological sites around Egypt through the month of January. This move is also intended to lure more Egyptian visitors to archaeological sites, thus helping boost awareness of their distinguished heritage. Also, as work continues to explore more in the ancient treasury, archaeologists from the University of Birmingham and the Egyptian Exploration Society have found evidence for new tombs in sites in Aswan. Let's take a look at the Tourism magazine. I will be right back.
Egypt Antiquities Ministry has announced a 20% discount on passes, allowing access to archaeological sites around Egypt through the month of January. Minister of Antiquities Khaled Al-Anani explained that the discounts, which applied to Luxor Pass and annual visitor pass, were aimed at encouraging more foreign visitors to visit Egypt. The move is also intended to lure more Egyptian visitors to archaeological sites, thus helping to boost awareness of their distinguished cultural heritage. Sumaya Benyamin, head of the ministry's financial department, said that the Luxor Pass provides access to all archaeological sites and museums in Luxor for a period of 5 consecutive days. Benyamin said there were 2 main categories of Luxor Pass with varying prices for foreign visitors. One category, including entry to the royal tombs of Queen Nefertari and King Seti I, costs $200 before the discount, with a student rate of $100. The second category, which excludes access to the 2 royal tombs, normally costs $100, with students paying $50. The annual visitors passes, meanwhile, include all open archaeological sites and museums across Egypt, with several optional available. The first is for foreign diplomats and foreigners who work in international and multinational companies in Egypt, with the tombs of Queen Nefertari and King Seti I. This goes before the discount
$340. Without the two royal tombs, the price drops to $140. The second option is for foreign residents in Egypt, normally costing $390 with the two tombs and $290 without them. Annual passes are also provided for Egyptians and Arab residents in Egypt, costing just 400 Egyptian pounds. During excavation work carried out below the Vestar's pathway in the northern part of the West Aswan Cemetery at Qubbat al-Hawa site, archaeologists from the University of Birmingham and the Egypt Exploration Society Qubbat al-Hawa Research Project stumbled upon what is believed to be an ancient Egyptian encroachment wall. Head of Ancient Egyptian Antiquities Department in the Ministry of Antiquities, Mahmoud Afifi, said that the wall is 2 meters high and is part of the archaeological support of the known tomb of the first upper terrace, including those of Harmuf and Hiqib, who were governors of island during the Old Kingdom. He explained, given the landscape of Qubbat al-Hawa, the support wall helped to secure the hillside and thus lower lying tombs that were accessible by a causeway leading to a second terrace. Nasr Salema, General Director of Aswan and Nubia Antiquities, described the discovery as stunning, adding that it is now only a matter of time until new tombs are uncovered with the important cemetery. Isam Nagy, coordinator of the QHRP and director of the EEC office in Cairo, said that this find is likely to change our understanding of the ancient funerary landscape of Qubbat al-Hawa, adding that the project's future plan is to follow the wall over its entire length in coming field seasons. Iman Khalifa, director of the pottery project within the QRHP, said that early studies on the discovered pottery, shreds embedded with the mortar used to build the wall, show the exact dating of the wall. She continued on to say that the studies revealed that the crushed pieces include parts of carnelian bowls executed in style typical of the reign of King Pepi II from the 6th dynasty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we now take you back to Ms. Spiro's golden era, and coming your way is a feature on, of course, the famous Taha Hussein. Stay tuned.
سيداتي سادتي مساء الخير. نحن الليلة على موعد مع إنسان عظيم اجتمعت في شخصيته صورة عصره بما فيه من عناء ونضال وتطلع. برز في لحظة من لحظات تاريخ أمتنا العربية فخلدها وخلدته، بل كان وسيظل أبدا معلما من معالمها، وكان وسيظل أبدا قدرة فعالة في التطوير والتنوير. نشأ مع البسطاء والفقراء في ضروب مغاغة بالصعيد، ثم جاء إلى أزقة كفر الطماعين.
هنا أقترح عليك شيئا من التغيير، فلم أسكن كفر الطماعين ولم أعرفه قط، وإنما كنت ساكنا في مكان يقال له حوش عطية في الجمالية.
في حوش عطي بالجمالية.
Taha Hussein was one of the most influential 20th century Egyptian writers and intellectuals and a figurehead for the Egyptian Renaissance and the modernist movement in the Middle East and North Africa. His sobriquet was the Dean of Arabic Literature. Taha Hussein was born in Izbet el-Kilo, a village in the Miniyat Governorate in Central Upper Egypt. He went to Kutab and thereafter was admitted to Al-Azhar University, where he studied religion and Arabic literature. From an early age, he was reluctant to take the traditional education to his heart. Hussein was the seventh of 13 children born into a lower middle class family. He became blind at the age of 3, a condition which caused him a great deal of anguish throughout his entire life. When Cairo University was founded in 1908, he was keen to be admitted, and despite being blind and poor, he won a place. In 1914, he became the second graduate to receive a PhD with a thesis on the skeptic poet and philosopher Abu al-Ala al-Ma'arri. He went on to become a professor of Arabic literature there. In 1919, he was appointed a professor of history at Cairo University. Additionally, he was the founding rector of the University of Alexandria. Although he wrote many novels and essays, in the West he is best known for his autobiography Al-Ayyam, or The Days, which was published in English as an Egyptian Childhood in 1932. The Stream of Days in 1943, however, it was his book of literary criticism on pre-Islamic poets of 1926 that brought him some fame in the Arab world. Taha Hussein was an intellectual of the Egyptian Renaissance and a proponent of the ideology of the Egyptian nationalism. After Hussein obtained his MA from the University of Montpellier, he continued his studies and received another PhD at the Sorbonne. With this accomplishment, Hussein became the first Egyptian and member of the mission to receive an MA and a doctorate PhD from France. In 1950, Hussein was appointed Minister of Education and was able to put into action his motto, "Education is like the air we breathe and the water we drink." Without Taha Hussein and his passion to promote education, millions of Egyptians would have never become literate. Taha Hussein held the position of chief editor of a number of newspapers and wrote innumerable articles. He was also a member of several scientific academics in Egypt and around the world.
هذا يطول جدا وأكثره سياسي، وشرحه يستغرق وقتا لا يليق بي أن أختلسه.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still joining you with today's edition of Cairo Local Time, and I'm delighted to be joined this afternoon by my guest in the studio, Mr. Amir Zakaria, the driving instructor and trainer. Mr. Amir, thank you very much, sir, for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming. Now, Cairo is one of the biggest cities and busiest cities in Africa, if not the world. More than 25 million inhabitants. Roads in Cairo have up to 8 lanes in some areas, and driving is quite hectic in Cairo. A lot of visitors, when they come to visit Cairo, or tourists, the first comment they make is driving. The traffic is challenging. So let me ask you, sir, what requirements, are there any special requirements for driving in Cairo?
As I think it's all requirements. It should be here in Cairo. But Cairo, especially Cairo itself, it's a very crowded area. It's a very crowded town, and there is no system. There is no respect from the drivers to the other drivers. These things, it's too much required to give the people, can say, road safety rules. They don't understand road safety rules. What I see here in Egypt, especially Cairo, the drivers, they are very selfish. Everyone want what he want to do, he will do it. However, it will commit an accident or not. That's so why it's too much accident here in Egypt. Yes.
Let me ask you, sir, what needs to be done to fix the system, regardless of the fact that maybe there's not, people don't follow the rules, but at the end of the day, I'm a person in my car trying to get from point A to point B safely.
Yes.
So what do I need to do in order to reach my destination as safely as possible?
Education. Education. If we have a very good education for the driving here in Egypt, absolutely the people will start to understand. Because when I face this, the Egyptian, when I face outside the other country, when I live there, when I gave training for the Egyptian especially, they said, oh, we wish this system come to Egypt. We need that system in Egypt. So they want, the Egyptian won't learn, but I don't know why the government here, they don't care about that.
Maybe it's because of the numbers. At the end, it's difficult to control?
No, not numbers. If you look to, as example, to Britain or to Germany, how many population there? It's more than Egyptian, more than 100 million. But they have system. Here you need a system, you need schools, driving schools to give the other people education about that related to the to the driving. Give them every time you have to give them the education about everything in driving.
So in your opinion, driving schools are important?
Yes, it's very important.
Yes, let's talk about the role of driving instructors. What role do they have to play if the person that is learning to drive has never driven before?
They start from A to Z with the student. The student, when he came, he should take, as example, a theoretical education. After theoretical education, practical education. So we have to take care about that from A to Z. Why? Because this kind of education very, very important. We have to start with the who interest to have this education for the driving, who like to drive a car. He should understand how to control that vehicle first. He should understand that. Why? Because this vehicle, he can kill himself by this vehicle. He can kill the others. He can harm anyone by this vehicle. But how to deal with that vehicle first, after that, how to deal with the other road drivers, and then how to protect yourself and the others from this equipment, because this equipment is very, very easy to harm. It's not only transportation. It should be transportation method. But in Egypt, we see it's fighting.
Let me ask you a few. You've obviously worked as a driving instructor in other countries, United Arab Emirates.
Yes, in UAE.
What are the differences? Like, there's a culture. Driving in Egypt is a culture. For example, Egyptians here honk their horn and use their horn, whether to greet someone or insult someone or just for listening to the radio. I don't know, people use their horn constantly.
Using the phone too much.
Exactly. So what are the differences with regards to the culture of driving in Egypt as you've seen and in other countries?
In Egypt, as I told you in the beginning, there is no system, there is no respect. This the most important point we have to focus on it. There is no system, there is no respect.
However, when there were laws, for example, remember a few years ago there was the seat belt. It was very well enforced. I mean, if the police at the time used to stop everyone, and people used to wear their seat belts.
It's very difficult to give a law, and you won't force the people to follow that law without any education. You have to educate me first. What is the seat belt? How much effect if I don't use it? Then okay, give me a chance to understand first. But I see when they start following that law, the people fix the seatbelt from behind and say it when they see any policeman, make it like that.
Just so they don't.
So there is no any. They cannot convince the people here. How to convince the people by any law, by anything very important? Give them education about that. The country here should take care too much about school driving. This very, very important. But not only school, just like that. Any one he won't make business. And that time, okay, I will do a driving school. So driving school, who teach? I saw one time here in Egypt, the instructor sit in the back, and the student sit on the steering wheel.
Alone.
Yes, alone, and the driver sit in the back.
Very dangerous as well. Let me ask you, how easy is it to get a driver's license in Egypt? In some countries, a driver's license is very difficult.
Yes, easy by the money.
No, regardless of corruption. I mean, when you go for your test, there's two things you do. There's a theoretical one you fill out, and then there's the driving test. How strict are the rules for these tests? I mean, I know in lots of countries overseas, there's a point system, for example, in the driving test, and if you make 6 mistakes, then you can't get your license and you try again.
In other countries, there is 2 tests, theoretical test and practical test.
Yes.
As example, in UAE, there is theoretical. You have to attend a theory course. Then there is a test. This test, maybe it's a 45 question in 30 minutes. And you should have a good score, 36 question pass, to pass the test. After that, you will go for the practical training, then test. Initial test or external test. The external test, it means in the main road outside. External, it means in the inside the company territory, and there is a parking area, something like that.
Right.
But here in Egypt, we need education.
As you said, of course, education is key. Mr. Amir Zakaria, the driving instructor. I'd like to thank you very much, sir, for joining us this afternoon on this edition of
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up today's edition with numbers, events and numbers, our feature, and we do hope you've enjoyed it. Do stay tuned. today's edition of Cairo Local Time. We do hope you have enjoyed it. Please join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Cairo Local Time for another edition with another crew. My name is Angie Mehmani. Thanks for joining us.